to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Shinobi 2, The Silent Fury, brought to us by Sega. The sequel to the first Shinobi game on the Game Gear, the games follow a very similar style, including having 5 ninjas instead of just 1. Also, like the first game, you must save one of the ninjas from each of the 4 starting levels, as well in this game as find a crystal in order to unlock the 5th and final level. And also, like the first game, each of the ninjas has a different weapon for them to use as well as a special move. You'll also have to backtrack to previous levels in case you missed the crystal, and you may have to use the ninja's special abilities in order to find that particular crystal. Thankfully, during this run of the game, we'll only have to go back to the first 2 levels we play. So here we go with Shinobi 2, The Silent Fury for the Game Gear. At the beginning, you can select a new game or continue from the previous game, and then you get to select which of the first 4 levels you want to go to. After you complete the first 4 stages, you can then go to the middle stage and face the final level. The first level we're going to be starting with is the castle level, where it's the location of the pink jewel as well as the pink ninja. The red ninja, the basic Shinobi ninja, has a long sword that he actually uses for his attack, and it has a pretty good hit range, so it's rather easy to hit enemies as would be expected. The first level of the castle is a little bit confusing because you have to go in and out several different doors in order to work your way up and find the correct door that will eventually lead to the end of the stage. This is the first of the 2 levels we will be revisiting because we can't get the jewel right now until we get some of the later powers. Enter this door with the red arrow next to it for the first boss fight of the game. This boss is this giant snake enemy that comes out of the ground and then goes up and down all across the screen. Stay on the far right side at first, and you'll be able to hit it a couple of times as it first comes out, and you'll also be able to avoid the giant ball that explodes every time it goes through its 3rd motion. Just look out to see when it's about to come up and where, and stand right next to it, deliver a lot of hits to it, and it should only take 4 or 5 cycles in order to actually defeat the first boss of the game. By defeating the boss, you save the pink ninja, as well as complete the level. The second level we're traveling to is the building, which is the location of the yellow ninja and yellow jewel. This is also a level that we'll have to come back to later when we actually have other abilities in order to get the jewel, so we'll just be completing the boss battle for now. Work your way up the left side of the building, taking out the enemies as you go. I would recommend just staying as the red ninja because it pretty much is the overall best ninja to play as throughout the game. We will, of course, have to switch through all the ninjas as we try to make it through the final level of the game. Just like Shinobi 1 on Game Gear, you can pick up the weird Japanese symbols, in which case they give you one of your special moves. Each ninja not only has its own unique powers, but also its own unique special move that you can pull off with it. Enter this elevator and you'll be traveled to the floor below, and then you can continue over to the left. Just watch out for the skating guys as well as the slime ninjas that hang out on the ceiling, as they will drop when they get near you. To the right of the door where the boss is located, open up these boxes so you can grab a 1-up, as well as activate that weird down arrow sign that is pretty much a halfway checkpoint. Then enter the door for the next boss fight. This boss is this giant yellow walker that starts off on the ceiling. You can't hit it until it opens up its neck, in which case you'll have to jump up and attack it. You can tell you're obviously doing damage when it flashes. It'll spit out first a black ball that will hit the ground and cause a fire wave to go across the ground, which is pretty easy to jump up above. His second main move is the acid balls he shoots out, which can be a little bit trouble to dodge because they shoot out to the sides, and they can end up hitting you when you're trying to do some jumping attacks. He'll alternate between the 2 moves back and forth a few times, and after 4 or 5 of his moves, you should be able to take him down and save the yellow ninja. The third level of the game is the location of the Blue Jewel and Blue Ninja, and it's the first level where we'll actually be getting the jewel on our first time through the level. Be careful of the early goings of this level that you don't accidentally fall down between the two pits. Here we're going to switch over to the Yellow Ninja for the first time. Drop down as this thing lowers and then walk over to the right side, and then as it raises you can jump up to the upper side. Just make sure you don't end up getting squashed by it. The Yellow Ninja has a throwing star which works pretty well and has a long distance to hit most enemies from afar. Work your way down this path through the river in order to actually get down to this spot. You may be wondering exactly what the Yellow Ninja's power is, and it's actually the ability to walk on water, which is why we needed him in the one room. Work your way over to the right here and open up this box to find the Blue Jewel. After you have the Blue Jewel, start working your way up to the upper right, grabbing some health along the way in case you've lost some health. Then up here, switch over to the Pink Ninja and grab this bar over to the right, which will give you 2 extra hits to your health bar. You'll have to be the Pink Ninja because he can climb on ceilings. Climb up here and enter the door and you'll be back in the main canyon area. As you can see, the Pink Ninja's main weapon is bombs that he throws out, which are a pretty decent weapon, but I still prefer either the Yellow Ninja or the Red Ninja. This giant armadillo-like boss, walk over to the right and immediately start attacking. He'll roll into a ball and then roll across the screen, which is pretty easy to jump over. Then, on the left side, he'll shoot out some spikes at you, which you can jump or duck underneath, and then he'll do a big bounce over across to the opposite side of the screen. Don't jump when he rolls this time. He'll then go over to the right side and repeat the process doing a big jump. The 4th time he'll shoot out the spikes and do another one of those rolls across the screen, so be ready to jump. By this point though, he should be pretty weak and he may do one more roll before you're able to take him out and save the ninja. The next level is the factory level, which is probably the toughest level so far. This is the location of the Green Ninja and Green Jewel. Be careful of the early parts of the stage as you watch out for the hot steam that's going to be coming out from the top. The enemies in this stage take 2 hits to take out instead of just 1, so they're a little bit tougher, but at the same time your range should be able to keep them at bay. Work your way up into the upper right and watch out for the steam here and then enter the door on the far right. Inside this pipe system, the screen will go dark, but you'll be able to see an outline of a door just to the right, which you can easily enter. Inside here, I recommend switching over to the Pink Ninja, as the bombs will be able to hit and you'll be able to back away in time, so you don't get hit by the wave that this guy ends up unleashing. Up here, blow up the both boxes to the right in case you need help. After going through a couple doors, you'll be in another conveyor belt area. Just work your way up and go into the upper left door here. Inside here, use your bombs to take out the skeleton, and then jump up 1 level and go over to the right door. Inside here, we have another one of those guys that shoots out the electrical wave. Try to hit him with the bombs and back away in time before he ends up hitting you, which can be a little bit of a pain. Go up here and enter this door on the right. Here we have another one of those skeletons, and then you want to jump on the ceiling and walk across to the left side. This is the reason why we need the Pink Ninja during this segment. Once in here, walk all the way over to the left and jump up to the upper layer, once again taking out another one of those electrical guys. Enter the door at the end of the hall, and once again you'll be in another one of these hallways that turns dark. Just keep working your way over to the left and hit the box on the far left by jumping over the gap that you can't see in order to pick up the green crystal. Then drop down and enter the door. In this room, I recommend switching over to the Blue Ninja and then drop down and you'll be able to use his claw ability in order to swing across the gap. Then, here I'm going to be using the Blue Ninja's special ability to turn into the tornado. I'll then use it in order to glide myself upwards and get to this box on the upper right, which is the location of another one of those health ups. Then drop down to the previous level and go through the door. Back in this room, drop down all the way to the bottom floor and enter the door on the left. You'll immediately fall and land in the pipe below, drop down and then work your way back around to the door. Once you're back in the area with the conveyor belts, instead of going to the upper left door, instead start walking to the right, watching out for the steam along the way. Over here, jump up and go over to the left, taking out the ninja, and then jump up on the conveyor belt and get into the upper right door. This is the location of the next boss battle. I recommend using the red ninja as I always find him the easiest to beat up on the bosses. This giant boss starts off and then breaks up into multiple pieces. Watch out and you can attack the top part easily multiple times with the sword. You'll just have to jump over or duck under the parts as they break apart. He'll then form again, shooting out a yellow laser which will bounce off the ground. Just be sure to jump over it and you can continue slashing at the main head of the enemy. He'll go back and forth a couple of times, but it shouldn't be too much trouble and you'll take him out easily, and you'll complete the factory level. Since we've completed all 4 stages and we have now all 5 ninjas available, we're going to be heading back to the castle stage and find the pink crystal that we didn't get the first time. Work your way over to the right and enter this door. Once inside here, switch over to the yellow ninja and then drop down and you'll be able to walk on the water below. This will give us access to a part of the stage we weren't able to travel to before since we obviously couldn't walk on the water without the yellow ninja. Drop down here and then use the yellow ninja shuriken in order to hit the enemies from a distance. Enter this door and you'll be taken to another part of the stage. Walk across the water all the way over to the right. You can grab an extra life from the box above if you like, but enter the door all the way over on the right. When you make it over here, switch up to the green ninja because he has the ability to do the double jump. Once you do so, jump up and over this wall in order to grab yourself the pink crystal. Then, switch back to the yellow ninja and continue on. Walk over to the right, being careful not to get squished as the water rises above. In this room, carefully work your way up the boxes and then open up this box on the top in order to grab yourself another piece of health. Then, switch off to the red ninja and use his magical ability in order to warp yourself right to the exit of the stage. Then enter the boss room and you'll complete the level and get back to the main map. Now we go back to the building level so we can collect the crystal located here. Just like on our first time through this level, we're going to be working our way up the different beams to the upper parts of this building. When you make it up here, you can swing across this gap in order to open up this box for one of those symbols to use one of the special moves. Continue over to the right, watching out for their skating guys, and then switch back to the blue ninja to swing across this gap and enter this elevator. It'll take you down 2 floors to this one. Once here, drop all the way down to ground level, and then enter the elevator just over to the left. It'll take you inside the building to a new part we haven't been to before. Be careful of that weird flying enemy above and then start working your way all the way down the ground level, then switch to the green ninja and use his special move to get rid of these barrels to the left. Head inside this elevator and you'll be taken up 2 floors. Open up the box and you'll get the last of the extra health we can get in the game. Once you have that, switch over to the blue ninja and walk over to the right. Take out the skeleton and that weird flying guy, which really gets on my nerves, and then continue over to the right. Climb up here and use your grappling hook to swing across this gap. Then continue working your way up, swinging across the different gaps using the hooks in the center. Here you'll have to swing across multiple ones to get over on the far right side that just barely make it over this wall, where you can find the location of the yellow crystal. Then switch over to the red ninja and use his special move to teleport you right near the boss door so you can exit the level and get back to the map. We can now head to the final level of the game, the enemy base. And just like Shinobi 1 for the Game Gear, this is a pretty long level and you'll need to use all your ninja skills in order to get through it. You also have to find the location of the red crystal that's located inside of this place. Watch out for all the falling slime in the first room because it ends up melting away the ground and you can end up falling down to the pit. In this room, switch to the pink ninja and then jump aboard the different moving platforms. You'll have to jump up underneath of it the first time so you can get over the first bit of spikes. Then you can switch to the green ninja to do a double jump to get to this platform above. You'll have to switch back and forth between the green and pink ninja to get through this room. Above here you can open up this box to get another one of those special moves. In order to make the jump between these 2 moving platforms, you'll have to jump up to the ceiling and hang on to it until the other platform comes over to get you. Then you can finally get out of this room by going into the door on the right. In the next room, the spike wall on the left will start chasing you down, so you'll have to switch to the green ninja and use his special move to get rid of all the barrels. Throughout the room, there's a couple of other boxes you can pick up so you can keep using the special move, but you'll have to use it several times to keep blowing up the barrels and to continue through the room. You can choose either the upper or bottom path. The upper path does lead you to an extra life in case you need it. Jump up here and you'll be able to get up to another box where you can grab an extra move and then you can blow up these barrels right below it. At the end here you'll have a choice of the bottom or upper path, both leading to a different door. For now we're going to be taking the upper path. Switch off to the blue ninja in the next room and use this grappling hook to keep swinging back and forth over the giant amount of spikes. Don't worry, even if you swing into the spikes they can't hurt you, they can only hurt you if you let go of the chain and end up falling directly onto them. In the next room there's electricity going all around. Just be sure to jump over it as you make it into each section. In the next area of this room you'll have 2 of them going, so you'll have to be extra careful as they meet in the middle and go across. Thankfully there's a bit of health you can pick up in case you need it. Go into the bottom door and you'll have a rematch against the yellow boss, the giant walker. This fight is exactly the same as it was the first time, so just jump up and keep attacking it, jumping over its flame wave and try not to get hit by the acid balls it spits out each time. Once he's taken care of, you'll be in a new room in this dungeon. Switch off to the yellow ninja and start walking across the water. Just be careful that when the water spouts go up, you don't accidentally run into the spikes above. Thankfully, by ducking, you won't hit your head on the spikes. In this room, use the blue ninja and swing across the middle one and then the one on the lower right so you can get to the lower right door. This will take you back to that room with the electricity, which now will be going into the other door to get to another rematch against one of the bosses. Be sure to pick up the health if you need it, as well as the special move. Here we have a rematch against that giant armadillo boss. Just be sure to jump over him or stay on the ground when he jumps over you, and you should have no problem avoiding the spikes. Once he's taken care of, you'll be in another part of this dungeon. Switch off to the pink ninja in this spike room. What you'll have to do is you'll have to keep jumping on the ceiling and getting back on the ground as the screen continues to scroll the ground. It's pretty interesting overall, so be careful that you don't accidentally fall down and land in the spikes. Now back in this room, use your hooks now to swing across to the middle gap. Then jump up and swing across these hooks in order to get an extra life on the top before entering the door on the right. In the next room, you have these panels that'll swing open and a guy will end up launching a giant ball at you. Just be careful and jump over the ball or duck under it when he ends up throwing it. Then, at the end, pick the upper door to enter a new area. Here, switch again to the pink ninja and start climbing along the ceiling and using these different platforms as they move up and down when you stand on one, so you can make it across the gaps and not land in spikes. Now it's time for the final bosses of the game. Drop down and start off by going into the far left door. I recommend using the blue ninja here. Here you'll face off with a doppelganger of the blue ninja, who'll instead have a giant mace that he swings around, which can be a little bit of a pain to dodge, but thankfully the length of your attack you should be able to hit him from a distance and still be able to dodge a large amount of his attacks. His biggest one being that he swings the mace around, and when he lands on the ground he ends up throwing it at you. It shouldn't take long, but you should be able to take him out and you'll be teleported back to that main room. Now we're going to switch off to the yellow ninja and enter the room next to it for a matchup against the yellow doppelganger. This yellow boss has a giant whirling blade that he throws out, which sometimes comes back to him while other times just goes to the opposite end of the screen. Just stand at a distance and use your throwing stars so that you can see exactly where the blade's going to be going and you have a better chance of dodging it. Next up, we have the pink guy. Use your bombs and keep attacking him every time he lands on the ground. And just be sure when he throws out a bomb that you jump over the wave of fire that it unleashes. This ends up being a really simple battle as he just keeps going back and forth along the ceiling, and every time he drops you can easily hit him. Here we have the green doppelganger. Use your green ninja to throw out the shurikens so you can hit him from a far distance, while doing your best to dodge the ones he throws out from the sky, as well as the ones he throws straight at you. The ones he throws at the sky, when they hit the ground, they'll break apart and spread into a spread shot that goes into the upper right diagonal direction. Once they're all taken care of, we have only one left, the red one, but we'll pick up some health first before heading up there. Use your green ninja to do a double jump, and then you'll have to enter the room, and now it's time to battle the final boss of the game. It starts off with a matchup against the red guy. He has all the moves of all the ninjas, having the giant shuriken as well as the grappling hook that he'll use from the blue ninja. When he jumps up into the air, he'll use his green throwing stars or bombs in order to throw them at you. Just stay close when he's jumping up in the air and you'll be able to hit him every time he lands, and his moves will go over your head. After you do enough damage, he'll switch off into his big form. This giant form you'll have to jump up in order to attack. Every time he launches the ball out of his head, it'll cause fire to go out from the left side, which is easy to dodge as long as you're close, and his other main move, the giant wave, you'll be able to easily duck under. He will sometimes throw out some lightning bolts, but for the most part they shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just keep jumping and attacking and staying close, and you should be able to take him down and enjoy the ending to Shinobi 2. Shinobi 2 for the Game Gear is a really good sequel overall for the first Game Gear Shinobi game. I also find it interesting that Sega decided not to make any more games in this style, using 5 different ninjas with different abilities to get through the different levels, instead focusing mainly on the main series of just having the one Shinobi ninja. And just like the first Shinobi game, this is a highly recommended action platformer available on that handheld console. After we have our end screen though, it ends up going back to the main menu, and you can start the game all over again. And with that, that's going to wrap up this edition of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.